Chapter 19. Relationship. In the past you have been together, and now you have to fulfill the remaining karma. The mind is at ease. What have you done? You have simply reduced something unknown. Falling in love is a mysterious phenomenon. It has nothing to do with karma, it has nothing to do with the past. It is happening right now, here and now. Why bring the past to explain it? What has the past to do with it? Life is bumping into you, new every moment. But because of the tendency and the constant hankering of the mind to explain everything, you bring explanations which are all hocus pocus abracadabra. Magic formulas which explain nothing really, but give you a sense of assurance. Perfectly okay. So this your woman is in your life because of karma. You are in her life because of karma, and you have to complete it, so carry on. Why destroy such beautiful life by such nonsense terms? Can't you remain with the unknown? Can't you say I don't know but love is there? Can't you say I am ignorant and I have no explanation, but love is there, and I don't know why it is there? I don't know how it happens, what is the mechanism, and I don't bother. What is the point of an explanation? Through explanation you will kill the whole beauty of love. Just think, falling in love and bringing in the theory of karma, you are destroying a beautiful thing. The word karma is ugly. Love is being destroyed by the concept of karma, or by the concept of destiny, kismet. God is forcing two persons to be together. Christians say that all marriages are arranged in heaven. What nonsense! Why bring in heaven? The whole thing to be understood is, the mind hankers for explanations. The mind is very childish, any explanation will do. But if you start living with the unexplained, a revolution happens. Then the mind by and by starts interfering, it keeps coming in again and again. Open the doors for the mysterious more and more. Just stop asking why, how, from where, to what, drop all these questions. Just live with the fact. And let the fact be there. While it is there, be with it. When it disappears, let it disappear. This is what innocence is. Don't live by knowledge, live by innocence. This is what Jesus means when he says be like a child. He has no explanation, he simply lives. Out of innocence you become more and more receptive to the unknown. As much as you drop the mind, in the same proportion you become available to the unknown. The more you cling to the mind and bring in foolish theories, just stupid. And when I say a certain theory is stupid, I don't mean a certain theory is, all theories are stupid. The theoretician's mind is stupid. If you love your woman, love. There is no need to know why. If love is there it will function on its own. If it is not there, there is no need. My whole insistence is to live life without the mind, without conclusions. Millions of people are crippled because of their explanations. I want you to be completely free from explanations. That is the only way to be. And only then one is authentic, because there is no other thing to do, whatsoever happens, happens. You never do something against yourself because there is no need. If you love a woman, you love, if you don't love, you don't. If love comes, you welcome it. If it is gone you are helpless, what can you do? Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 145 Osho. Chapter 19. So just remain with the fact. That is the way of being true, authentic, existential. And all theories are childish. Foolish people need them, so cunning people supply them. Foolish people cannot live without theories, so cunning people don't miss the opportunity to exploit them. But I don't give you any theories. My whole effort is destructive in a way. I want you to live completely unstructured so you have simply freedom to live. And don't go into the past. Don't go to the future. Listen to the present, and move with the present. This is the courageous way. Cowards either move to the past or to the future, because they are not courageous enough to live with the fact. They go on zigzagly, their path is not straight, dodging. Whom are you dodging? You are simply wasting your whole life. Your woman is beautiful. If you love her, she is beautiful. Of course there is bound to be pain also, so never think, because that too is a very foolish idea implanted in the minds of the whole of humanity, that when you love a person there are all flowers and flowers and flowers, and no thorns. That's absolutely nonsense. Roses bring their thorns with them. So never think that love is just ice cream. It has its pain, it has to have. In spite of the pain, you go. You love a person, you know there is bound to be some conflict. Two persons are two different worlds. When two worlds come close, many conflicts, clashes, are bound to be there, natural. Don't expect otherwise. But if you love the person, you love these conflicts also. And by conflicts cease because you become understanding, more and more understanding. In fact, these conflicts are nothing but two different worlds trying to understand each other. So many misunderstandings happen on the way. But when you have understood, those misunderstandings drop by. And love comes to a deep intimacy, a silence, a great calmness. So this is just the beginning. Drama is there, conflict is there. When the other enters, drama has started. Alone there is no drama. That's why alone one feels lonely, because there is no drama, no excitement, no charge, no thrill. The other brings the thrill, the excitement, the misery, and the happiness, the pain and the pleasure, both heaven and hell. Drama starts. You cannot make a story out of pleasure only, it will be boring. The pain is needed, it gives flavor, the contrast. You cannot make a painting with one color. There will be no painting, it will be just a canvas. At least two colors are needed, some contrast is needed. The more colors there are, the more beautiful painting will evolve out of it. When colorful persons meet, there is much drama. Your woman is colorful, and much drama is possible, a chuckle. So don't be afraid, enjoy it. While it lasts, enjoy it, because nobody knows, tomorrow you may not be there. So enjoy this moment as if it is going to be the last. And remain true to the present. And there is no other commitment, only commitment to the present. There is no other responsibility, only one, to be true, authentic for that which is right now. Don't be bothered about the past and the future. A sannyasin says, I feel like I'd like a companion, a man. I was with a man last night and I didn't know whether to have sex or not, because I just wanted to be close. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 146 Osho. Chapter 19. That is always a problem with man and woman. Women always like more to just be close, and just to be close is not enough for a man. So if you want to be close, you should always remember that man has a different mind. Women are passive, so just being close gives them enough. Man is active, his whole sex energy is active. Unless he becomes actively engaged, he feels frustrated. He feels that you bring him up to the door and then you refuse. You invite him and then you refuse. He feels rejected. So always remember, when you love a man, love his masculinity. Otherwise this is cheating. You want just closeness, and no man is interested in just closeness. Then one should become a lesbian, two women just interested in closeness, finished. There is nothing wrong in it, but if you are interested in men, then remember masculinity. And whenever energy starts flowing, you will also feel sexual. Ordinarily the whole of humanity has been repressed so much, just to repress sexuality, all sensitivity has been repressed, because everything goes together. You are a unity. If you run, you cannot leave your left hand there and take your right hand with you. If you run, you cannot leave your head here, and take your legs away. There is a Mullah Nasruddin anecdote. He went to a rich man's house for some donations for his mosque, but the gatekeeper said he was out and he would not be returning for a while, so please not to bother to come again. The rich man was looking from the window to see who had come. He had told the gatekeeper that no beggar was to be allowed. Mullah looked at the window and said to the gatekeeper, "I give you some free advice. When your master comes back, tell him never to leave his head on the window when he goes out. It is dangerous, somebody may steal it. One goes totally." This is how energies function. If you repress sex, you have to repress all sensitivities. If you repress sex, you have repressed your eyes, you will not be able to see so clearly. No, it is not possible. This is my observation, that whenever people's sex energy is released, they don't need glasses. I have seen many people meditating, and suddenly their glasses disappear. They come to me and they ask what has happened. In fact, there was nothing wrong with their eyes. When you repress sex, you have to repress your eyes also, unknowingly, because the eyes are the first portals of sex. You see a beautiful woman, you have to repress the eyes first. If you don't repress the eyes, then excitement will enter the body and you will start dreaming and fantasizing, and sex will arise. To repress sex, you have to repress the eyes. To repress sex, you have to repress the ears, because if you listen very clearly, you will see that a woman's voice has a tremendous attraction. Everything is sexual, because man and woman are sexual beings. When you repress sex and you touch somebody, you don't touch at all. Just a dead body touches, inside you withdraw yourself. The hand takes somebody else's hand, but you withdraw your energy. You are not there present in the hand is almost dead. So when one starts meditating and energies start functioning, they will again start working together in a unison, a harmony, an orchestra of energies. Everything will come to its peak, and suddenly be realistic. Plan for a miracle. 147 Osho. Chapter 19. You will see that a great sexual desire is arising. Don't be surprised. This is a good indication that you are becoming alive again. Sex is life. It is life energy, elah vital, libido, whatsoever you call it. Once you give it total freedom, spontaneity, by and by you will see that without repressing it, it starts being transformed into a subtle understanding. But that is not repression. Your whole sensitivity remains the same, on the peak. You retain your clarity of eyes, clarity of thinking, clarity of every door of your being, everything remains clear and open. By and by sex starts being transformed into a higher plane. You become more creative. You start creating something, a painting, a poetry, a music playing on the instrument or something. This is not repression, this is expression. Then sex disappears, that's what Brahmacharya is. The real celibacy, you become virgin again. Just see. A child is born. The child is virgin, absolutely innocent. All the energy is there, you cannot have clearer eyes than a child. Now psychoanalysts say that up to the age of 4, children see things that nobody else sees, detects even, they are very perceptive. They will hear things that nobody else will hear. Everything is clear, is bound to be clear. Everything is fresh and young. But there is no sexuality yet. Everything is moving in harmony. Then sex enters at the age of 14. Now their body is completely ready to give birth to some other bodies. Then nature starts using their energy. Their whole attention becomes sexual. If life doesn't go naturally, if a child does not become sexual at the age of 14, then something has gone wrong, the child is abnormal. Exactly the same happens near the age of 42. As sex arises at the age of 14, religion arises at the age of 42. If everything goes naturally, then at the age of 42, sex will again disappear. But nothing goes naturally, So 70 years, 80 years, and sex. Because everything is repressed. Exactly at 14 years, sex starts, at 28 it reaches its peak, and at 42 sex recedes, the circle is complete. Suddenly sex disappears. So this may be the last flame of it? Don't be worried. Otherwise it can linger on, that's why I say to be active, so you are finished with it and it doesn't linger. Because this is the problem, if the body becomes old and sex lingers on in the mind, then it is very difficult to change it, because now no bodily expression is possible. Then sex becomes a ghostly phenomenon, then it hovers around the head, and you cannot do anything about it. That's what happens to old men, that's why they are called dirty old people. Laughter. They cannot do anything but their mind goes on thinking, fantasizing, and they fantasize more because now that is the only activity left. So before that happens, I would like everybody to be finished with it. What is your age right now? She answers, 46. I thought I was over it. Just be active, and be finished. It is going to go, so before it goes have a last taste of it. Why be realistic? Plan for a miracle. 148 Osho. Chapter 20 April 4, 1976 p.m. in Chuangzi Auditorium. Osho gave an individual meditation to a newly arrived sannyasin. Start doing one meditation in the night before you go to sleep. Put off the light and just stand in the darkness. Then start shaking from the head, just the head. Enjoy the shaking and feel how it feels from inside. Then shake the upper part of the body, the head, the hands, the torso, don't shake the lower part. When you feel and enjoy that, then shake the lower part. Then when you feel and enjoy that, shake the whole body. So in 3 parts, first the head, just the head, second the torso, third the whole body. Start with the head because you can feel it more easily there in the beginning, because the consciousness is very close and witnessing is easier, and enjoy it. When you are shaking the whole body, just find which posture feels to be the most graceful, where you feel very very beautiful. After 3 minutes take that posture, any posture, hands raised, body leaning forwards or sideways, or whatsoever, and freeze in it for 4 minutes. This is a 10-minute meditation, 1 minute shaking the head, 2 minutes shaking the torso, 3 minutes the whole body, and for 4 minutes just freeze as if you have become a statue. Go on feeling all the 4 steps. Shaking, you feel the energy stirred, then the whole body becomes a turmoil of energy, a cyclone. Feel it, as if you are just in a cyclone. And then freeze suddenly and remain like a statue, and then you will feel the center. So you reach to the center through the cyclone. 149. Chapter 20. Do this every night, and after 10 days come and tell me how you are feeling. Much has to come up. She passed Osho a copy of a book that her boyfriend had written. Osho asked how long she had been with her boyfriend, to which she replied 3 years. Good. I always feel happy when people have been together for a longer period. In the West, things have become very momentary, 2 years almost looks too long. Laughter. But deeper layers of love start functioning only when you have been really too long together. When the togetherness has become so deep that you can forget that the other is present, when you can be in the presence of the other as if you are alone, only then the very core of love is touched, the very rock bottom. Otherwise we go on playing with the circumference, the periphery. So a love that ends very soon, as it is happening in the West, only touches the body, it never reaches the mind. And it almost never reaches the soul. The deeper you are together, and the longer, the more things you will come to know in your own being. They need a certain deep commitment to come up. They need a certain depth of intimacy and then they come up. Ordinarily when you meet a new person, a stranger, you just show your good side, you never show your bad side. That's okay, just etiquette. What is the point of showing your bad side to a stranger? When you fall in love with someone, first you show the good side, then by and by your bad side comes up. Those are the troublesome days, then one moves in troubled waters. If you can pass those troubled waters, then neither the good nor the bad comes up, which is really you, which is nothing to do with good or bad, which is simply you. It cannot be evaluated as good or bad. Being is neither, it simply is. Good is an evaluation of the society. Bad is also an evaluation of the society. Good is that part of you that society accepts and appreciates, bad, that part which the society denies, rejects. But you are neither. This third layer of simple existence arises only when good is exhausted and bad also. It needs time, just as trees need time to be planted. A sexual affair is just like seasonal flowers. You sow the seeds and within weeks the flowers are there, but within weeks they are gone also. If you long for a big tree which is going to remain for thousands of years, then deep roots are needed. A sannyasin said that he was aware of much tension in the whole of his body, particularly in his hands and face, which would seize up on occasions. Osho suggested he try the meditation similar to that he had given in Darshan on March 22, where he sat alone in his room and first induced sadness and then happiness. These are the only two directions the energy can move, misery and bliss. First move it towards misery so you are finished with misery, and then move it towards happiness. And after misery it is very simple to move towards bliss. The misery becomes the background and it helps like a blackboard. Whatsoever white lines you draw on it, they show perfectly clearly. You can draw those white lines on a white wall, but they won't be realistic. Plan for a miracle 150 Osho. Chapter 20. Sho. Hell is needed to experience heaven. Darkness is needed to see the stars. They are here and there in the day also, they don't go anywhere, but you cannot see because darkness is not there, the background is not there. The right situation is not there. In the night as darkness descends, stars start appearing. They are already there, waiting for the darkness to come, darkness reveals them. So first create misery, anguish, and then shift immediately towards happiness. It is just as if you have been feeling hungry and you have been fasting for a few days, and then suddenly delicious food is served to you. You have an appetite. If you are full, even delicious food not delicious at all, it may even give nausea. So a person who really enjoys food needs fasting. At least for a few hours he has to fast, otherwise he cannot enjoy food. If you go on eating the whole day, you are finished, there will be no appetite for food. So remember always the law of the contraries. If you want to enjoy food, fast. If you want to enjoy love, fast. If you want to enjoy relaxation, work. If you really want to be blissful, create hell. This is one thing. And the other thing to be remembered, when you create something, you remain the master. When you can shift so easily from hell to heaven, suddenly you will have a tremendous power, you will feel it. Immediately you will feel, I am the master. I can shift from suffering to bliss very easily, just like changing a gear in a car. First do it in imagination, then someday try it in reality. Someday you are feeling miserable. Feel miserable, let that be the opportunity. Go deep, sink deep into it. Let it exhaust you. Then immediately change to happiness. First try it in imagination, because it is all imagination. When you are really suffering, then too it is imagination. So if you are capable of changing in imagination, you are capable of changing in reality also because reality is nothing but your imagination. You make it so, that's why it is so. As a man thinketh, he creates the world. So for 10 days try it and then tell me. After 10 days, try it in reality. You can move both ways. Sometimes you are feeling very happy, shift the gear and become unhappy. And see, you can do it. Once you know that you can do it, you are free of the mind, gone beyond. Now the mind cannot control you. Now you know that the mind is a mechanism, and the gear is in your hand. You will feel a tremendous release of power within you. Then nobody can make you miserable. You can laugh even in hell, nobody can prevent you. Try it, A sannyas couple present. The man says, things are much better, our communication is really good. Everything's a joke, even our fights. If you understand, conflicts naturally disappear, start disappearing. Sometimes you will catch yourself again in the old pattern, and then you will laugh. If you can laugh the middle of a fight, the fight is no more there, it is already dead. The fight needs a very unconscious mind. If you are a little conscious, you cannot fight, because the whole thing seems to be absurd, destructive, helps nobody in any way. And by it you are not be realistic, plan for a miracle 151 Osho. Chapter 20. Only destroying the other, you are destroying yourself, and you go on destroying all possibilities of a happy, harmonious relationship. It is very easy to get angry and fight, but it is very difficult to throw that poison from the system, because it creates poison. That poison lingers on. Each fight has a hangover, and the hangover will again create some situation in which you start fighting again. So fight generates fight, one conflict creates another conflict. They are very reproductive. They don't believe in any birth control. Consciousness, awareness, has no children. It is enough unto itself. But unconsciousness creates many children. So just remember more and more, just catch yourself red-handed. And then don't feel embarrassed, don't feel shy. Immediately drop it then and there. Even if you are in the middle of a sentence, stop then and there and have a good laugh. Laughter is very medicinal. There is nothing like laughter, it is very therapeutic. If people can laugh more, the world will certainly be better. And if people can laugh in situations when laughter does not come easily, the world can become tremendously different, a very happy world indeed. So try. It is going very well, but remain alert. The woman said that she was in love with another man in Canada and was in a conflict because she felt also very much in love with her husband. That simply means that you still want some type of conflict and discord to continue. It may not be love for the other man, it may just be love for conflict. We love conflicts because we feel powerful. When everything is going well, one suddenly feels nothing is happening. One feels as if life is empty. If life is really harmonious, one feels empty, no excitement, no kick, no thrill. So people say that they would like a very peaceful life, but nobody really longs for it, otherwise, nobody is creating any barrier. So they go on talking about, and they go on searching for a peaceful life, and they go on creating disturbances. So beware, watch out. If you love Prakash, there is no need for any other man. In fact, that division shows something divided in you. When someone loves two persons, it simply shows that somewhere there is a division inside, you are not one. Hence the insistence that if you can love one it is going to help, because it will make you one. If you cannot love your husband totally, drop him. I will take him out of your life, but then be totally with the other man. There is nothing wrong in it, but be with one so that you can be one, Just think, a woman loving many persons becomes fragmentary. That's the misery of a prostitute. I come across many prostitutes, and my feeling is that it is not really that society has forced them, there are a few cases where society has forced them, but basically it is their own psyche. They have so many persons inside them. Not one woman, but many women, a crowd. And that crowd cannot be satisfied by one man. And if you cannot be satisfied with one man or one woman, you cannot be satisfied with 1,000. Because if it is difficult to get in harmony with one, 2 will be more difficult, and 3 will be still more difficult. The greater the number, the greater will be the difficulty to create harmony. Be realistic, plan for a miracle 152 Osho. Chapter 20. So if you are really interested in peace, harmony, love, then settle for one, even if it is hard in the beginning. It is hard because of the habit. It always gives a very good feeling to have two lovers, because then you can create a conflict between them, a triangle is created. The woman feels tremendously happy. She may be living in misery because these two persons are in constant conflict, but she feels good that she is desired by two men. That is not going to help. It will give you a feverish excitement, but that fever is going to be destructive to your being. I will not suggest that. So choose. Decision is good because it makes you decisive. Don't linger on because that too is a decision to remain indecisive. Choose. If you think that you want the other man more, think, ponder over it. But if you want to be with Prakash, then drop the other man. It is as if you are making love to your husband and the other man is always in between you. It will be there and Prakash will not feel any privacy. He will be holding your hand and there will be a third hand in between you and the intimacy will not flower. One has to decide. Life is a continuous moment-to-moment decision. You cannot go in all ways. If you want to come to India, you have to leave Canada. If you want to live in Canada, you have to leave India. You cannot live everywhere. One cannot spread oneself thin, all over the earth. One will lose one's being totally. One has to remain centered. So not only with love, about everything, be decisive. I know, I understand that it is hard. Sometimes it is just 50/50. It feels hard how to decide, but then too, one has to decide. Toss a coin or consult the I Ching, but still decide. To remain in an indecision longer is very, very dangerous. It gives you a quality of being indecisive. And if one learns that trick, then one wastes one's whole life. Then in small things also one starts becoming indecisive. One lingers, hesitates. And if too much lingering and hesitation is there, it will be difficult, very, very difficult, to take the final jump into God, into the divine. Love is a learning, the first lesson of religion. It helps you to decide. And if you can decide, in that very decision something within you crystallizes. You will see it. Otherwise you will become bifurcated, you will become a schizophrenic, one part going this way, another part going that way. A house divided is always in danger. Any moment it can collapse. So you decide. I don't say decide for Prakash, I'm not saying that, but decide. If you really want to be happy, be decisive. It takes courage to decide, almost a gambler's courage, but this is how life is, Nothing is cheap in life, at least not love. It demands. And that is the beauty of it, that it demands. That very demand gives you a tone, a spirit, integrity, individuality. And things are going so well between you two. Just help them, they can go even better. There is no end to it. A sannyas says, I feel very self-critical. After social encounters I'm always thinking about what I said, what I could have said. That's a bad habit. Self-awareness is good, but self-criticism is not good, because it is never to the point. When the moment is gone, then you criticize yourself. Awareness is in the present and be realistic, plan for a miracle. 153 Osho. Chapter 20. Criticism is about the past. You cannot undo it, you cannot redo it. It is gone, and gone forever, nothing can be done about it. It is simply foolish to waste even a single moment thinking about it, because again in thinking about it, you are wasting the present, again doing the same. Be aware in whatsoever, relationship, work, meditation, whatsoever it is. When something is there, when something is happening, be aware, never be critical. Because in that moment of awareness, something can be transformed. If you are alert, you may not do many things, you will do other things. If you are aware, you will not be able to make the mistakes that you go on criticizing. Awareness has never been anything for which there is any possibility for repentance. A man who is aware, never repents. Whatever he could not do, he has not done. There is no point in pitying oneself, in criticizing oneself, feeling sorry for oneself, they are all diseases. So drop that. And it is an ego trip. You do something and then you start improving on it in the mind. That simply shows that you have done something which falls below the image of your ego. You have been angry and you always think that you are a very very good person, and you are never angry, and now you have been angry. Then later on you see that your self-image has fallen down. What to do? Now in your own eyes you feel condemned. How are you going to show your face to others? And you have been broadcasting so much that you are a good man and you are never angry, this and that. Now what about that advertisement that you have been making? You cannot say that you have been angry or greedy or a miser or whatsoever. There is only one way, pulling yourself up by your own shoestrings, you straighten yourself, repent. You say this was wrong. I should not have done this. I should have done something else. Now you are painting your image. You are saying maybe I was angry, but it was just a moment's error. I am repenting for it. Look, there are tears in my eyes. I am not a bad man at all. You may even go to the person to whom you have been angry and ask his pardon, but that too is an ego trip. You will again start feeling good, a very good man. You have retained your respectability again. Your self-image is again enthroned. If you really feel that anger was wrong, then forget about the past. Now whenever anger is there, remain alert. That is real repentance. Remain alert. I'm not saying don't ask people's forgiveness. Ask, but not in repentance. Not for anger but for your unawareness. Can you see the distinction? If you have been angry, go to the person and say I have been unaware. I behaved like a fool, a drunkard. I was unconscious, drugged. I have done something but I was not there. Ask forgiveness for your unawareness, not for your anger. And remember, the real problem is not anger. The real problem is unawareness. So next time be more aware. Whether it is anger, hatred, jealousy, possessiveness, 1,001 things are there, but the real disease is one, unawareness. These are all facets of the same thing. So if you try to change that, these problems, you will never be able to cope, because they are millions. The sannyasin answers, I sort of feel I'm being a miser with my energy. Then be aware, be aware. Don't condemn, condemnation is not going to help. It will make you more guilty, and a guilty person becomes more miserly. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 154 Osho. Chapter 20. Just try to understand it. If you are miserly in your energy, then try to understand I am a miser in my energy. I don't share. Let this fact be there. Now move again in relationship with people and remember this fact. Let this fact be always there reminding you. And do something which is not miserly, because these are habits. Just do something which is not miserly. Once you do something which is not miserly, you will say what foolishness I was doing. Just today I was reading about the life of an American millionaire. He never gave a single paisa to any donation. Beggars wouldn't come to his house, and people who wanted donations would never ask because they knew he would say no. His no was absolute. When one friend was asking for donations for a college, he came to the millionaire and said, I don't want any donation from you because I know you are not going to give it to me. Just give me a false check, and I will return it to you in 2 days' time. But that check will help me. Give me a check for $10,000, a false check, and I will be able to show the whole town that you have given $10,000, and then others will give. When I have collected others' donations, your donation will be returned. The millionaire thought there was nothing wrong in it and that he could trust the man, he was a friend. He gave the money, and the whole town started talking about it. For 2 days continuously, people phoned. People came to him and said, we were thinking that you were a miser. We were wrong. After 2 days the friend came. He had collected thousands of dollars. He said, "This is your check. Take it back. We are very thankful, because of it we have got much." The miser started crying. He said, "Keep it with you. And I am giving you 10,000 more, because I never knew how happy it makes one feel to give." So many people phoned and so many people came. For the first time I saw a totally different dimension. I have been hoarding and hoarding and hoarding, but I have never felt so good as I have felt these 2 days. Now I am going to give. Tell the whole town that whosoever needs, should come. Even in the middle of the night, I will be ready to give. I have tasted it, so the only thing you can do is to do something which is not miserly, and taste that dimension of sharing. If it feels good, then there is no problem, you will do it again. If it doesn't feel good, there is no problem. You can fall back on your old pattern. Nobody is hindering the path. But don't repent and don't condemn. Simply become more alert about your ways and functionings and how the mechanism of the mind works. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 155 Osho. Chapter 21 April 5, 1976 p.m. in Chuangzi Auditorium. A sannyasin says, "I have a lot of problems about girls. I really get frightened, sometimes just of everything, sometimes of nothing. It's just a general sort of fear. A few groups will be very, very helpful. The fear has to be dropped, but first you will have to go into it. You can drop a thing only when you have understood perfectly, otherwise you cannot drop it. Fear exists because of non-understanding. There are a few things that you have not understood and they are lurking in the unconscious. They manipulate you from the unconscious, so you are just a victim. You don't know where they come from. They come just out of the blue, and you are in their grip. When you are in their grip, you cannot do anything, almost helpless. So first those lurking repressed emotions in the unconscious have to be brought to light, they have to be made conscious. Once they are conscious, they start disappearing. It is just as if I give you a lamp and tell you to go inside the room and search for where darkness is. So you take the lamp, otherwise how will you search in the darkness? And then you go into the room with the lamp but you cannot find the darkness, because when the light is there, darkness is not. So the whole problem, not only for you, for every human being, is how to bring the unconscious into the light, into the conscious, or how to take the conscious into the unconscious dark basement of your being. Once darkness is penetrated by the light of consciousness, it starts disappearing. And things like fear, hatred, jealousy, which have made their abode there in the darkness, can exist only with the darkness. They love darkness, they live in darkness. They feed on it. They are like the roots of the trees. If you bring them into the light, they start dying. They survive only in the dark womb of the earth. So there is nothing difficult in it, it is simple. But you will have to go through a few groups. This group, Encounter, which we are meeting today, will be helpful. So be here for a few weeks. 156. Chapter 21. One has to work upon oneself, time is needed, patience is needed. It is almost a spiritual searching. So don't be in a hurry. If you see a woman and you start trembling, really tremble. Let her also become afraid of you. Don't suppress it and don't say, "What are you doing? You are a man," and all that nonsense. What can you do? You are feeling afraid, so you have to tremble. Tremble, enjoy it. So whatsoever comes up, allow. For these 10 days in the camp, let things surface so that they will be uprooted, loosened. I will take the fear out. Nothing to worry about. A sannyasin said that the tension, or what she experienced as a block below her stomach down to the top of her thighs, still persisted. Osho gave her an energy darshan. It is not a block at all. You are feeling it like a block, and this happens very rarely, because when the energy is moving too fast, you cannot feel the movement. It is just as if an electric fan moves very fast, you will not be able to see that there is any movement. Energy is moving very fast, and it is a good indication. You should be happy about it. So don't be worried, but it has to be allowed. So this is an experiment for you to do every night. Just put this box on your head with both hands, stand, and start. The same thing will happen, you will jump with the energy. Help the energy. Energy is moving faster than your body, there is a gap. If the body also moves the same way, soon the gap will be bridged and the feeling of hardness will disappear. It is very good, Do it for 3 weeks, and 10 minutes each night will be enough. After 3 weeks, stop. Even if you feel it is there after 3 weeks, it will go. A sannyasin says, there was something like anger but it was so deep, something clicked and I was no longer there, I was no longer conscious of it, but I lashed out in viciousness. And that scares me because I don't feel it's really me, but it's deep inside somewhere. Don't get scared, that too is you. It is very difficult to accept it, but inside, man is the whole world, from the lowest animal to the highest gods. Everything is there. Man has tried in history, in many ways, to fix his being, to create a belief that I am only this, and to deny all that has never worked. It has created a very sad state of affairs. Just the other day I was reading a joke, a Jewish joke. The joke says that Jews have dominated the whole history of man. First is Moses, who said it is all in the head of man, who tried to explain everything through the head. Then the second Jew, Jesus, who said it is all in the heart of man. Then there was a third Jew called Marx, who said it is all in the belly of man, and the fourth Jew, Freud, who said, it is a little lower than the belly. And then the fifth Jew, Einstein, who said it is all relative. But this has been our effort in the whole history of man, to fix somewhere, to say man is this, to say that it is all in the head or all in the heart, or all is economics, or all is sex, somehow to give man a fixation, a fixed definition. That has not worked. Man is all. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 157 Osho. Chapter 21. Man represents the whole cosmos. So remember never to reject anything. If you say this is not me, then you can never be total and whole. You are rejecting a part which will become a dark corner in your being. It will remain there. Just by saying no to it, it is not going to dissolve. It will remain there and it will become inimical to you, and it will take revenge. That's how a man goes mad, it was the revenge of certain things that the man was denying. If you deny love and you remain just in the head and work through the head, and you think that the head is the all and your whole being, then your heart will start taking revenge on you. It will revolt. If you deny sex, sex will revolt. Don't deny anything, that's my whole teaching, don't deny. However hard to accept, it has to be accepted. Nothing can be done about it. You have to accept, and through acceptance it will lose its sting. So accept, that too is you, and there is nothing wrong in it. That energy has to be absorbed. Denied, rejected, it will remain there, and someday will erupt on you, explode like a volcano. If you go on denying it, the very denial dissipates much energy unnecessarily, because you have to constantly fight it. It will not leave you at rest for a single moment. Even in your dreams you will be fighting it. Even in your sleep you will turn and toss and fight with it because you are afraid, it can erupt any moment. You have to sit on it constantly, because once you move, the lid will open. This is how ordinarily people are living. They cannot live because they are not free, they are sitting on certain parts of themselves, and they cannot move from there. You call to them, come here, they cannot come. How can they come? They are caught. If they move, there is fear. The way to become fearless is to accept all without denial. Hard, I know it. I am not saying it is easy, but that is the only way. And there is no shortcut. All shortcuts have failed. Don't say it is wrong. Try to understand what it is, and why it is. It is such a new part of you, a wild part. And you are afraid that there may be wild animals in it. But nothing is wrong in wild animals either. They are beautiful if you can understand. If you can learn their language and can communicate with them, you can persuade them to become members of you, you can take their cooperation. Just the language is needed. Wild animals can be tamed. All animals that you have tamed were wild once. Even man was a wild animal, and still much of him is wild. Tame it. I don't say suppress, tame. I say persuade it, seduce it. I say fall in love with it, embrace it, and absorb it. You will be richer for that anger absorbed, a man becomes vital, potent. Anger absorbed, your life takes a flame. Anger absorbed, live not a lukewarm life. You live intensely, and that is the only way to live. Your torch should burn from both ends. In being lukewarm there is no charm. So accept, go into it. And you will be very happy once you can bring those wild animals back into your home. The encounter group are present. A participant says, "It's hard for me to change. I can't make it." Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 158 Osho. Chapter 21. Do you want to? If you don't want to, then it is okay. It is nobody else's problem, it is your problem. If one clings to the problem, it is one's own to decide. If you want to remain resistant, if you like it, love it, then do it to your heart's desire. But if you want to drop it, then with whom are you playing the game? With yourself. Either drop it or carry it, If you feel that it is something valuable and that is why you are resisting, fighting, not opening, if you think some treasure is there and that you are protecting your treasure, then by all means, protect it. Then who is there to tell you to come out of it? It is nobody's business. But if you feel that you are suffocating, that it is not a treasure but a dung heap and you are dying in it, and you are living in a darkness and can live outside in the sun, then why? Whom are you resisting? You think it is these people, the group? You are resisting yourself. Whatsoever one is doing with oneself, remember that. So in these 2 days, you decide. If you think it is worth preserving, then sit in a corner and preserve it, because these people are dangerous. They may fool you somehow, and you may spill your treasure, and once it is spilled milk. You cannot gather it up again. But if you think that this is foolish, there is nothing to protect, you are simply protecting so that you can believe that there is something to protect, and there is nothing, who else can know better than you that there is nothing? Then jump into the middle of these people. Lie down in the middle and tell them to break the ice. Pray to them to bring you out of it. And cooperate. Who can bring you out of yourself if you are not cooperating? How is it possible? Nothing can be done against you, only with your cooperation. In the past it was an idea that through hypnosis people can be brought to certain points, insights, certain spaces against themselves, hence the fear of hypnotism. But it is wrong. Even through hypnosis you cannot be brought against yourself. I have worked long on hypnosis. One of my brothers used to work in an office, and I was against that office. So I tried and tried to persuade him, but he wouldn't listen. That office was crippling him, it was too much. And just rotten work, it was not creative at all. He had much potential and I wanted to bring him out. But he has a clinging mind. Whatsoever it is, once he clings, he clings. Not only with work. Once he has a dress he will not leave it, somehow with the old things he gets caught. So one day I hypnotized him. Finding no other way, I hypnotized him. Everything went well, I tested, everything was perfect. Even a needle pricked deep and he could not feel. I talked about many things, because I was aware that if I talked about that office he may come out of his hypnosis immediately. Everything was perfect. When I saw that he had gone deep, really deep, I talked about the office. He immediately opened his eyes. Laughter, and he said, "What? I cannot leave that office." What happened? Now hypnotists, psychologists, say that even through hypnosis nothing can be done against the person, nothing can be done. If it can be done, that means there must be some subconscious. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 159 Osho. Chapter 21. Support. If a woman is raped through hypnosis, in the beginning the court was giving the decision against the person who raped, but now they have become suspicious. The woman wanted to be raped, otherwise it is impossible. If you cannot take a person out of his office, how can you rape a person? She must be willing somewhere, she must be playing somewhere. She was playing with the idea, now I am not responsible. If this person rapes me, good. I can say I was hypnotized, so I am not responsible. I will never feel guilty and nobody can say I am guilty. On the contrary, she can make much fuss. But deep in her unconscious she wants to be raped. So tomorrow you sit in the corner and decide. Look inside. If you find a treasure there, by all means, protect it. These people are thieves, robbers. I am the greatest robber here. Laughter, protect your treasure and don't listen to anybody, because once they break the locks the treasure is gone. If you don't find anything worthwhile there, just emptiness, then for what are you resisting? Come out, and on your knees pray to them to help you. A group member says, I have a lot of enthusiasm for the group, but I've been feeling stuck. Millimeter. It can happen sometimes. It can happen because of too much sincerity. Whenever a person is too sincere, he becomes serious. He is bent upon doing something, and that becomes the barrier. Because these things happen, you cannot do. At the most you can allow, you cannot do. In fact, enthusiasm is not needed. One has to be passive, to allow. Too much sincerity, too many expectations, that something has to be done and something has to happen, make one tense. That is the tension somewhere near the diaphragm. And when it is not happening, one starts finding reasons why it is not happening. Am I not enthusiastic enough? Because everything is being done and nothing is happening, maybe I'm not enthusiastic enough. That comes to the mind. That is a rationalization. If you are running hard and not reaching the goal, the mind says run a little harder. You are not running hard enough. But the possibility is that the goal can never be reached through the running, harder or not. There is a possibility that the goal can only be reached when you are standing, because the goal is where you already are. Enthusiasm is not needed. Enthusiasm is a feverish state, and one cannot remain enthusiastic for long. It cannot be a natural thing. It is a fever, it comes and then goes. Never rely on any fever. Inspiration, enthusiasm, these are all feverish states. So that has been your whole pattern in the past. You want to do, you are a doer, and you don't know how to allow things to happen. So the mind says more enthusiasm, more hard work. But that is not the problem. In fact, no enthusiasm is needed. The mind says be more sincere. When you are really sincere, it means you are after something too much, like religious saints and old men, too much after something, bent upon it. They will not leave a stone unturned. They will not allow God any rest. They have to have God in their hands, almost possessed, obsessed. That is not my idea of spiritual growth. These people are neurotic. Out of 100 holy men, 99 have been neurotic. Rarely 1% have been really holy men. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 160 Osho. Chapter 21. So drop all idea of getting anywhere. There is nowhere to get to. As I see, you are already there. You may take a little time to see it, but everybody is already there, born there, so don't run. From tomorrow work slowly, passively, allowing whatsoever to happen, but not asking for anything. And these 2 days will help you to see much about yourself. When this block disappears, you will not feel stuck. One feels stuck because there is so much desire and it is not being fulfilled, frustration. Drop the desire. Be released from the desire. Simply enjoy. Not enthusiasm, but enjoyment. Simply watch what is happening. Participate in it at ease, with no effort. And you will be perfect, passive, and in a let go, and things will start happening. They always happen when you are not there waiting for them, expecting them, forcing them to happen. All that is beautiful and true happens on its own accord. It always surprises you, So just relax, and come back after 2 days and tell me how you feel. A group member said that he was afraid to open and expose himself, and seeing others doing so made him even more afraid. He felt he just didn't have the courage. It takes courage, and a little foolhardiness. You must be too clever. Chuckling, I have got you. Laughter, so for these 2 days, be a little foolish and see, Because courage comes easy when you are a fool. It is a problem for clever people, too calculating, intelligent, thinking what to do and what not to do, how much it is going to pay, how much it is not going to pay, what is the risk. They waste time. Be a fool. Fools have achieved things which clever people have never been able to achieve. Saint Francis used to say, I am God's fool. Jesus looked foolish to people. All people who have attained to something have appeared foolish to others, to the so-called worldly wise. But foolishness has a wisdom of its own. For what are you afraid? At the most these people can call you a fool. So tomorrow you write on your forehead, I am a fool, laughter. Then they can see you are a fool, so what to do? Then you go on. That will help, Let us see. The youngest member of the group, aged 14, says, I am really scared in the group a lot of the time. No, don't be gentle to her, that won't help. Because if you are gentle too much with her, she will feel separate. No child feels good when you are too gentle, because that shows that she is a child and not part of you. A child feels very happy when you behave as if he is grown up. Even if you hit him hard, he will accept it. And he will feel grateful that you accepted him, that he is equal to you. That is a problem with children, everybody is protecting them and patronizing them. They feel that they are not yet accepted in the society of grown-ups. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 161 Osho. Chapter 21. So that may be the cause why she is feeling a little that she is not into it. For these 2 days forget that she is a teenager and accept her grown-upness. And she is grown up now, she has been to Goa, laughter, so she is perfectly grown up. You don't need any more qualification for a grown-up. Goa returned, In the old days in India, when India was under British rule, that was the greatest qualification, England returned. For what one had gone, nobody inquired, laughter. She is Goa returned, so accept her and don't treat her specially. She will feel happy for it and grateful, and things will start moving. Tomorrow they start moving. They have already started. A group member, who is also a therapist, says he realized how manipulative he was. I've just been stuck for so many years, yoga techniques and karate techniques. I feel now that I'm becoming less ambitious. I'm dropping into becoming more ordinary. Very good, That is the only way to become extraordinary, just to be ordinary. And all those people who are after being extraordinary, are simply ordinary people. Once you understand that there is nothing to prove, you relax. Not that you stop doing things. In fact, for the first time things start moving on their own. An ambitious person is a destructive person, because his real motive is somewhere else. Once ambition drops, compassion enters in. You will go on doing the same thing, but not for your ambition. Because you love it, you do it. And once you are not ambitious, you will see that your work has become very, very graceful. It attains to a dignity, because there is nowhere to go, nothing to achieve. One moves gracefully. If there is no ambition, there is no point in manipulating people. Then techniques can be used, but you don't use people for techniques. Then means are ends are ends. And everything is clear. People are ends, they are not means. That's the difference in ways of looking at people. A politician looks at people as if they are means to achieve something, power, prestige, position. Ambition is politics, the very roots of politics. They may look at people as means, use them as steps, moving on their heads to go higher and higher and higher. This is inhuman, politics is inhuman. A religious man looks at people as ends. They cannot be used. Love them, help them, celebrate them. Celebrate with them, enjoy them. But there is no question of using them in any political sense. Then all that you have learned, karate or whatsoever, you share with everybody. It can be helpful. Technology in itself is not bad, but it should not become the goal. It should be kept in its place. Man remains the highest goal, an end in itself. Nothing is higher than man. Man is the ultimate goal. When you look at man with this religious vision, then everything that you know is good. If you forget this vision, then whatsoever you know is poisonous. That's how, through knowledge, atom bombs are created. These are all means, but they have become ends. So remember, this is a good insight, and each group is going to give you many, many insights, Because when you are a leader of a group, you stand on a different pedestal, you have to be realistic, plan for a miracle. 162 Osho. Chapter 21. You are going to help people. You have to be more concerned with the technique, and you have to maintain that you are the leader. Directly, indirectly, you don't mix. When you are a participant, you are in a totally different situation. You don't have any burden, you are not doing anything. Your eyes are clearer and you can see what is happening. You can relax. So participate in all the groups, and by learn how to be a leader and a participant together. When the leader is needed, be a leader. When there is no need for a leader, be a participant. A continuous movement, a rhythm, and you will feel very, very relaxed. To be a leader is really to be mad, because continuously you cannot relax, you cannot be human. You have to remain higher than everybody, and holier than everybody, and you have to continuously maintain that. It is a very, very tense posture. So if you can relax continuously while leading a group, and if it becomes like breathing, in breathing, out breathing, one moment you are a leader, another moment you are a participant, you will come out of the group very, very relaxed, fulfilled. And you would have enjoyed these two things together, the insight of the leader and the insight of the participant. From both sides, you have eaten the cake and you have it also. A group member says, I haven't been participating in the group very much. I don't trust my feelings, and I'm not really in touch with what's happening. Almost nobody is. People have lost their roots in the earth. People are uprooted. So don't be worried, this is how it has happened to the whole of humanity. Now there are very, very rare people, accidents in fact, who somehow have survived from the calamity that civilization is, who are still rooted and have a touch with the earth and who have their grounding, who can feel their feelings. Otherwise everybody just thinks. If you love, you think that you love, it is not direct. You don't feel that you love, you think that you feel that you love. But it always goes from the thinking, and that thinking is a barrier, a buffer. It absorbs everything and does not allow anything. But this is the first point when you come to understand that you are not in touch with your feelings. Once you understand this, then something is possible. So go on working. Be more aware, in touch. Try to expose yourself, because nothing is at loss, You are not losing anything by exposing yourself. You may gain, but you cannot lose because you don't have anything. The whole effort is in a way, ridiculous. You are saving something which you don't have, and I am trying to help you to drop something which you don't have. You just cling to the idea that you have it. Once you drop it, you will be simply surprised that there was nothing there, you were not holding anything. You will laugh at the whole ridiculousness of it. Hence the insistence to drop it, so that you can see that there is nothing. If you go on clinging and clenching your fist, you will never be able to see that the fist is empty. So try for these 2 days, A group member says, I feel a lot of love for the group, it's just getting better all the time. Very good, Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 163 Osho. Chapter 21. It is very easy to feel love in a group because everybody is so loving, and everybody is giving so much, sharing. It comes easy to feel love. The problem arises where everybody is closed, uptight, non-giving, not open. And that's how society is. Everybody is closed. Not that they don't want to love. They are hankering for it. They are waiting for somebody to come and break their ice, but they are waiting, others are also waiting. Everybody is closed in his own monad-like life, windowless, waiting for somebody, a messiah, to come and open them. But nobody comes, because others are afraid that if they go, you may reject them. There is every possibility. Your closedness gives the feeling that you will reject, so nobody comes close. Everybody is defensive. And it is the same with you, you are afraid to go with, or to mix with anybody, because who knows, he may reject you. It is better to be closed than to be hurt and rejected. So people choose that, a life that is without love. They have chosen out of calculation. The calculation is this, that if you don't move towards anybody, nobody can reject you, so you will never be hurt. Right, you will never be hurt, but you can never be happy either. This is what is happening in the world. Everybody has become an island, and all bridges have been dropped. It is very easy to feel love in a group because everybody is open, but you will not find the world outside so open. So remember, a group is just a situation to see how people really are. This is the real face of all people. If they are given a chance, they will be open, loving, sharing. So whenever you come across somebody who is not open, try to open him, help him to open. Don't be afraid that you will be rejected. At the most you can be rejected, accept that too. It is worth risk-taking. Knock at the door. The other may just be hiding behind it, waiting for somebody to knock. He may be defensive, he may try not to open himself. Push the door, help him come out. The real face of every person is just this that you are feeling in the group. In the group you feel that people are naked, nude. They are without clothes, without armor, without defenses. They are as they would have been if they were not destroyed in their childhood. They are as they would like to be, but the world does not allow them. In the group they are putting aside their masks and you are seeing their real faces. That is the reality about everybody. Every human being is hankering for love, seeking, searching, but afraid, so waiting. Never be deceived by people's masks. That's the training of the group. These are the same people who are in the marketplace, the same people all around. They are the same people, but they gathered courage, they tried to come close. They tried to be nude and vulnerable, and when one becomes vulnerable, others also gather courage. It is a cumulative phenomenon, That's why it is easy in a group. It becomes easy, it becomes infectious. When you see that everybody is open and nobody is worried, nobody is hiding, nobody is seeking any sort of hypocrisy, everybody is so simple and innocent and open, accepting and allowing you to come in, welcoming, don't miss this opportunity. Feel the real face of man. This is the real face of man. Don't think that this is the real face of group leader or the therapist, or this and that. This is the real face of man. When you go on the street, watch. Behind very facade, you will find the same real face. And feel real love, So the whole world and all situations become group situations. The world really can become a paradise. Only love has to be allowed unconditionally, to flow. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 164 Osho. Chapter 21. Love has to be made like an ocean that surrounds everybody and melts everybody's island, opens everybody's heart and door of their innermost core. So whatsoever is easy in a group will not be easy in the outside world, The group is a special situation. From that take a lesson. Learn about the real face of man, and don't be deceived by masks, deceptions. Insist, and try to find out where, because somewhere the real man must be hiding. Love is the very quality of your being. That is what is meant when Jesus says God is love. It is not an accidental attribute. It is not something that you can take off and on. It is you. Not that man is loving, but man is love. So look into each face deeply to find the real face, to find the original face. And never be deceived by deceptions. Whatsoever the outer shell, bypass it, and tell the man you cannot deceive me. I know your real face. I know a God is hiding behind you, and I trust in your being a God. I don't believe in all the nonsense you are imposing on yourself. And you will help him to become more and more open. The more you help others to become open, the more and more open you will become, Spread the disease far and wide. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 165 Osho. Chapter 22 April 6, 1976 p.m. in Chuangzi Auditorium. A sannyasin said that she had not been meditating for the past few months as she felt the presence of a force almost like a person's presence when she started to meditate, and in fear she would have to open her eyes. Osho checked her energy. It is nothing to be worried about. Rather you should be happy that it is happening, but fear comes. Nobody is there. It is just your expansion of consciousness that you feel around you, and particularly near the shoulder. Sometimes it happens in deep meditation that your body aura becomes bigger than ordinarily. Ordinarily it is close to the body, clinging to the body like clothes. When you are deep in meditation, and it will happen particularly in dynamic meditation because much energy arises, and so much is flowing inside, the aura becomes bigger. The aura becomes so big that you almost feel as if somebody else is present. It is your own presence that you are feeling for the first time, nobody else is there. But I can see that near the shoulders it is too big, and near the head also. When for the first time you come to realize your own aura, you always feel as if somebody else is present. That is an interpretation of the mind, because something new is present, something unfamiliar is present. The mind can only think that somebody else is present. And of course when somebody else is present, you have to open your eyes. There is no need to be afraid, If you enjoy it, whenever you feel it, be happy. Be happy and allow it more and more. It is your own energy that is moving around you, almost touching you. Soon you will be able to see it and feel it. It will always be felt as if somebody is at the back and you would like to look at the back. There is no need to be worried. If you look, you disturb the whole thing. 166. Chapter 22. Recently I've been feeling that I've just been storing everything inside me, that I'm closed and locked. I feel that I'm holding myself all together inside. It's like I don't have the courage to be authentic and just let things flow through me. That is not the problem. The problem arises because of the choice. In the old days people were taught to hold themselves. That was the idea, to hold oneself, to remain centered, in control. That has been the ideal for all the ages past, the controlled man, the disciplined man, the man who holds his energy in himself, is not leaking from anywhere. That was the ideal for centuries. That was a choice. Energy needs both, it needs to flow, it needs to be disciplined also. If you hold it too much it will become stagnant. So now the modern mind has moved to the other extreme, not to hold at all. Flow has become the slogan of the day. But if you flow too much you will become poor, impoverished. If you flow too much you will lose yourself, the center will be lost. You will live on the circumference. And this is how it goes on in the human mind, from one extreme to the other. Then people get fed up with the other extreme, so they move to the first again, finding no other way. And the real way is not to choose between the two, but to allow both together, choicelessly. So when the energy is storing, you need not be worried. Don't hold, don't try any control on your part, that's all. If energy itself is storing, that's the moment to store, that's the moment to conserve, that is the moment to become a reservoir of energy. When the reservoir is full, it will overflow. Then don't hinder it when it overflows, that is another moment, the other extreme of sharing, of going out, moving on the periphery, living in the world, meeting, relationships, and 1,001 things. But allow the energy to have its own way. To be authentic does not mean just to flow. To be authentic means whatsoever is happening, let it happen. If holding is happening, let it happen. If you are trying, and you are trying, that's why the problem arises. Whenever energy is moving in one way and you try to force it in another way, you create a problem, a contradiction. The energy is going in and you want to force it out, so the problem arises. When the energy is going in, ride on it and go in. Go to the very end, to the very core of your being. Let the whole world disappear. There comes a moment when only you exist and nobody else. Only the center exists and all of the periphery is so far away, it is so distant, like stars which you cannot see. They are, but so far away, almost as if they are not. That is one extreme, one polarity of energy. There it becomes a seed. That is the seed time, one conserves. Returning to the source. One turns into oneself, turning in. Enjoy it. That has been the goal for ages. For centuries all the religions have been trying to do it, but they missed because they were afraid of flow. They thought flow was a leakage. Now the opposite thing has become the fashion of the day. People think to be in is frozen. To be in and not flowing is condemned. People say you are closed. No. When the energy is moving in, on its own, you are not closed. It is night time and one needs rest. One cannot sit in the marketplace the whole day, 24 hours. One closes one's doors, puts off the light and goes to bed. After the day's hard work one needs that. You have been in much turmoil, be realistic, plan for a miracle. 167 Osho. Chapter 22. The relationship and the whole turmoil of it, so you need rest. It is rest. Don't use wrong words for it. Don't say I'm closed, because the moment you say I'm closed, you have already started a contradiction. You would like to be open. Don't say I am holding. You are not holding, the energy is moving in. It is becoming a seed. When the right season comes, it will sprout and will become a tree again. If you make a contradiction right now and try to bring yourself out, you can bring with hard effort, but that is a sheer wastage and you will create great trouble for the future because you have been halfway, and the center will miss energy. The center will be pulling you in and you will be pulling out. Who are you to go against the energy? It is just an idea. Always follow the energy. Trust energy. That's what I mean when I say trust. Trust God means trust energy, trust vitality, trust life. Wherever it leads, go, with a deep trust in your heart. It is leading you to the right thing. Don't make your own judgments. Soon you will be flowing. Then again remember, because when you start flowing, you will feel that you are missing that silence, that inward peace and stillness. Then you will become afraid of the flow. You will talk of leakage and say I am wasting my energy and it is too much. I don't want relationship, and this and that. Because of half-heartedness, this problem arises. If you really go to the center itself will throw you back to the periphery. If you go deep to the periphery itself throws you back to the center in the right moment. It is a natural flow. It is just like rivers that go and drop into the ocean. They evaporate and then they become clouds. Again they come onto the hills and pour down, and again the river flows. It goes on that way. The river goes on pouring into the sea goes on pouring back into the river. The continuity is never lost, the circle continues. The center goes on pouring in the periphery goes on pouring in the center. Don't you come in, don't get in the way. Just allow the energy and put yourself aside. That's all that meditation is about, to put oneself aside, not to interfere. It takes much courage not to interfere, because the mind tends to interfere. It is a trespasser. But I see that everything is so good, mm. A sannyasin says, the last 6 months I've been in relationship, and now I'm going back to the West. It's putting me through an attachment trip. East is the center and West is the periphery. One gets attached to one extreme. Never get attached, always be a wanderer between East and West. If your girlfriend can go, take her. If she is not going, then go alone. Enjoy aloneness, nothing wrong in it. When one enjoys a relationship, one has earned aloneness. If you loved somebody, I say you have earned now to be alone. And it is going to be beautiful. It is going to be a rest from relationship, and then you will be ready again with more energy, vitality, to move into a relationship. Nothing is wrong in it. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 168 Osho. Chapter 22. It is always good to be separate from people you love so that you can love again, because every departure is an arrival. And if you never depart, then you will divorce. Departure is not a divorce. That's what's happening, mm. One feels love and feels not to go. Good. When one feels like leaving someone, things have become ugly. Always get up from your lunch or supper when you would still have liked to have been there a little more, get up a little hungry. It is good to get up when you are still feeling a little hungry. Fill the stomach 3/4, rather than feeling nauseous and stuffing yourself, and having to be carried out by others. That is not good. And directly from the table to the hospital is not good, laughter. That is the rule, the law for everything. When you are still feeling good in a relationship, it is very, very helpful sometimes to go away, to give a gap. You can be alone, your beloved can be alone to sort things out, then come back. Why be afraid? If there has been love, there will be love. Love will wait for you. Love never dies through separation, never. If it dies at all, it dies through too much togetherness, never by separation. To be together too much is almost suffocating to love. That's why husbands and wives kill love, they murder it. They are together so much that the very appetite disappears. Gaps are needed. And that's what is happening in the West. Marriage has become almost an ideal. It is disappearing, it will have to disappear. The East knew better. Osho went on to say that because in the East families are joint, with many people living together, husbands and wives seldom had a moment together. During the day it was not possible, and at night they could only communicate in whispers. Hence, their love was kept alive, vital. Now in the West, joint families have disappeared and man and woman are left alone so they can have as much togetherness as they like. They can make love in the night, they can make love in the morning, they can make love in the afternoon. And soon they are finished. There are no barriers. Both are available to each other too much, the appetite disappears. Soon they are looking tired, bored. There is no awaiting. It is as if you are continuously sitting at the table and eating and eating and eating. A little fast is needed between two meals. You have to fast for 6, 8 hours, the longer the better. The same is true for love, because love is also food. Whatsoever applies to food, applies to love. Love is the subtlest food. You eat it, and it nourishes you. It gives you strength and life, so don't take too much nourishment. Too much of everything is bad, and particularly sweet things, laughter. They create diabetes, Love creates diabetes. If you love too much, it is too sweet, delicious. Avoid it. A little here and there is good. Mix it with salt, that's what separation is. If you want to avoid divorce, always enjoy separating. So you go, and come back soon. And that will be good, waiting there and thinking of your girlfriend. That is going to be great, laughter. The primal group is at darshan. The group leader says, when I meditate in the lecture in the morning, I find myself going very deep into something. I feel a popping sensation. Something popping and just showering down. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 169 Osho. Chapter 22. Then I leave the lecture and I feel really quiet, and it's difficult when I have to come back to the group, to orientate myself into this other space, to coming out and being active and relating to people. I just want to stay very quiet. I understand, It always happens that when you are really going in, you can never be sure where you are going, never, because you have never been there. The territory is completely unfamiliar, strange, it is a new space. It can even frighten you sometimes. It can become scary because it feels as if you are being lost in it. But it is good that you are not frightened and scared. Rather you are feeling a showering of energy and something popping in the head. Very good. That will happen only when you accept the new space that is opening for you. Very rarely people accept it. When they accept, when they welcome it, they will have this popping feeling, something opening, buds opening and becoming blossoms. And immediately they will have the certain feeling of something showering on them, because whenever you open, something showers. It is waiting for you to open. It is showering already, it is just that you are missing because you are not receptive. It is raining already, but your pot is upside down, so you don't receive it. You go on missing it. And the rains cannot do anything to put your pot right side up. That is what is happening in the morning when you are sitting near me. Listening to me, and listening to a Hindi lecture which you cannot understand, helps tremendously because your mind cannot function. The language is not understood, so the mind has nothing to do, to think about, to spin, to decide this way or that. By and by, listening to the sound, you become more and more alert about my presence, because the mind stops. It cannot function. What you hear is more like music, it silences you. And because you cannot understand what I am saying, you're understanding more of what I am, a direct contact. This is what in Zen they call transmission beyond the scriptures, a direct energy contact. Suddenly you feel the opening, and in the opening, the showering. And of course when you go from there, you have to move to the opposite polarity, activity. And it will be difficult, but try to do it, don't make it difficult. That's where many people miss. If you become incapable of activity, then your silence can never be total, it will be afraid of activity. Your silence will become escapist. That's what has happened in the East. Millions of people became escapists. They experienced this type of silence and they thought, what is the point of going to the market and to the shop and the office? What is the point of carrying on worldly affairs? Drop out. The word drop out is very new in the West. In the East it is one of the most ancient words. A sannyasin means a dropout, one who has found some inner space and does not care about what is going on outside. So an indifferent attitude arose, such as you will see in Indians. A beggar is there, and an Indian will pass totally indifferent. A Westerner cannot pass easily. He starts thinking, he cannot forget the beggar and what is happening to him, that nobody cares. The road is dirty, and everywhere is dirt and ugliness. An Indian passes completely oblivious. The reason is that in the past 5,000 years many Indians have come to this space of inner silence. Now they don't get involved in any activity, because if you say feed the poor then they have be realistic, plan for a miracle 170 Osho. Chapter 22. To become active. If you say serve the ill they have to be active. If you say clean the road and be hygienic they have to be active. But they don't care. This is their escape. They say, the world goes on like that. It has always been like that, and who is going to change it? And who bothers? Why should I waste my time and my being? So this will happen to many sannyasins here, I would not like it to. This is the whole misery of the East. And the whole misery of the West is activity. The whole misery of the East is inactivity. Once you become active you forget silence, those inner spaces when you were not in this world, not of this world, when you were not in any way influenced by the gravitation of the earth. You were flying high, almost weightless. You miss. You become active, you become heavy. Gravitation starts functioning on you. Then you run from one activity to another, and from another to still another. Your whole life becomes a running, a chasing of something, you don't know what it is. You just go on changing one activity into another activity. Out of one activity you create 10, and this goes on and on. One day you fall dead. Your whole life just a tale told by an idiot, full of fury and noise and signifying nothing. But both are dangerous if one becomes obsessed and fixated. Both are beautiful if one remains flowing. My whole emphasis is to come to an inner balance, so that you can come into the house and go out of it, and nothing debars you. Neither the outside is an obsession so that you cannot come in, nor the inside so that you cannot go out. One should be so easily moving from in to out and from out to in, as one moves in and out of a house. When you are shivering in the house and it is sunny outside, why shiver inside? Come out. But then when it is afternoon and it is too hot, then don't perspire, come in. And don't make a decision that you have to be out or you have to be in, both create attachments. When you are out, you will see the flowers and the sun and the clouds, and you may get attached. You will say it is worth it. Let the perspiration be there. It is a little hot, okay, but there are beautiful flowers. And if you become attached to the inside, you say it is so silent, no disturbance. Of course it is a little chilly, cold, but it is worth it. Both are wrong attitudes. Partiality is wrong. Choice is wrong, prejudice is wrong. And I call a man really alive who can move from one polarity to another easily, from this bank to another, from this shore to another. Nothing holds him, he's always ready. Soul would suggest that immediately after the lecture you go and change the focus. Get into activity, whatsoever the natural tendency of the mind. The mind will say it is beautiful in. Where are you going? Don't listen to the mind, otherwise soon the mind will make the inside ugly also. I am neither in favor of activity nor in favor of inactivity. I am in favor of flowing, being. Don't become frozen. If you can remember that, that's all. So whenever you feel that you are getting attached inside, move out immediately. Don't lose a single moment. Attachment is bad. Do something. If you are feeling that it is getting too beautiful and you will not be able to come out, jump out of it. Run around. Do something, but get out of it. And when you see that the activity is becoming feverish, neurotic, just immediately drop in and go in. Neither be an introvert nor an extrovert. Be a man, laughter, just flowing, alive. Be realistic, plan for a miracle 171 Osho. Chapter 22. The assistant leader says, I hit on something, about needing approval, and I realized that if I stopped wanting that I'd have to face my aloneness. It's like a performance. Always feel that whatsoever you feel good, is good. If you feel good in being after approval, nothing is wrong. Let it be. If you feel good, then what is wrong in performing? I think you are against happiness or something. What is wrong in performance? Do it well, that's all. Be a good actor. Always remember that ultimately what counts is your happiness. If you feel good, then why not? If you don't feel good, then drop it, there is no point. The problem arises because something makes you feel good and you condemn it for some other reason, for example, that it is a performance. But everything is a performance. The whole existence is a performance. God performing and enjoying it. Otherwise, why should he do it? He should have stopped long before. It seems he cannot stop. No, he is enjoying tremendously. So whatsoever you do that feels good, continue. Good is the real gold. Good is the only value. If you feel good, then who is there to say not to do it? But mind is a troublemaker. If you are feeling good, the mind will say, why are you feeling so good? Now the question is there, sadness settles. Then the mind is happy, it has put you in trouble. Now you can be sad and depressed. Perform. There is nothing wrong in it. If you love a person, you will like to perform many things for him. And of course you will like the approval. If a Picasso is painting, deep down there is a need of approval. If nobody likes the painting, nobody approves of it, nobody looks at it, he will feel hurt. Picasso used to go to his exhibitions and stand at the door to see how many people were looking at his paintings, what they were saying. A poet writes poetry, and he enjoys it tremendously when people are happy. Nothing is wrong in it, he makes people happy, their happiness makes him happy. It is reciprocal. You do something and somebody becomes happy. You become happy that you did it. When you are happy, somebody else feels so good that it was good that he was happy, because he has made you happy. It goes on, mirrors reflecting each other. Perfectly okay. That's why when you stop this you feel lonely, because when you stop you are cut from people. If you think that performance is wrong, if you think that approval is wrong, or seeking the approval is wrong, then you are cut. You don't know how to make the bridge, how to approach people, for what? This performing, the need for approval, connects you, joins you with people. I would like you to become a hedonist, and you seem to be a little sadistic or masochistic. You enjoy being sad and you create your sadness out of nothing. Drop all this. Just make one thing a criterion, happiness is the criterion. Do whatsoever is going to make you happy, whatsoever it is, but be happy for 3 months. And if you are not, I will make you an ascetic. Laughter, follow this for 3 months and we will see. You may be a born ascetic. The co-leader of the primal group says, I'm beginning to really enjoy the groups now. I'm beginning to explore myself, and I can see now that thinking is always the barrier. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 172 Osho. Chapter 22. That is a barrier. It hinders your eyesight. It clouds your vision and you cannot see what is the case. You interpret it, and all interpretations are wrong. Uninterpreted fact is the truth, naked, bare, as it is. You are not mixing yourself in it. Keep alert, because the mind tends to fall into old habits again and again and again. Whenever you feel that something alive has happened, protect it, feed it. Play with it from many directions so you become more acquainted with it and you cannot lose it. Go to it from many places so that if you forget one path, you know another. If you forget another path, you know still another. And taste it in different moods, when you are sad, then, when you are happy, then, when you are angry, then, so you become more and more certain about it. It is as if it is almost in your hands. Whenever you need, you can open your hand and find it. Otherwise many times it happens that a person has a glimpse and then things become cloudy again, and he does not know how to find it again. Then he starts becoming suspicious. When he cannot find it again, he thinks maybe I just dreamt about it. Maybe I just imagined it. Perhaps it has never been there and I was just thinking about it. And once you suspect that, you are cut from it totally. Then it will take years to get into it again, until another situation, another fortunate moment when you can get into contact with it again. Many people fall into places which are tremendously valuable, beautiful, but they miss them again and again. They are like wanderers who have stumbled but they don't know where they are, and they will go far away again. So catch hold of it, keep a thread in your hand. And whenever you have something which you feel has made you more alive, then make it a part of your being so that you don't lose it again. Another co-leader says, in the group when I work with people, the more I like them, the more helpless I feel. I don't know what to do then. It is not really helplessness. You want to be too helpful, beyond your capacities, so you feel helpless. It always happens when you would like to do too much and you cannot. It never happens to miserly people, but to people who want to share. But there is a limit. Love knows no limit. But humanity is limited, so that becomes the barrier. Love would like to fly on and on. But suddenly you have a body and you cannot fly, so you are rooted in the earth. So if you want to love too much you feel helpless. Nothing is wrong in it. Accept that helplessness, it is good. Don't be crippled by it. Rather be happy that you wanted to love so much, you wanted to give so much, that you felt that nothing was enough. It is almost like a mother. A mother never feels that she is doing all that she wants to do for the child. That's the difference between the secretary of an organization and a mother. A secretary will claim things that he has done, he will make a great annual report of what he has done. If you go to a mother and ask about an annual report, she will shrug her shoulders. She will say what to say. I have not done anything. In fact, I feel so incapable and helpless. I wanted to do this and that and I couldn't do it. The child is so lovely and I am so incapable. Almost all mothers feel inadequate because all love likes to do much, more than is humanly possible to do. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 173 Osho. Chapter 22. So nothing to be worried about, They all feel that you have been helpful, tremendously helpful, and too loving. Helplessness enters, but don't become sad about it, rather be happy. Miserly people will never feel that. I have heard about a woman who died, and when the angels came to take her, they inquired, have you ever done any good deed? Otherwise you will have to go to hell. She thought, and then she remembered the one good deed she had done. Once to a beggar she had given a carrot, just one carrot. But God is compassionate and the angels were very, very helpful. They said, okay, this will do. So they called for the carrot, it appeared. They told the woman, hang on to the carrot and it will fly like a rocket and take you into heaven. So she started rising high, she felt very happy. An old beggar appeared. He clutched at the hem of her torn dress and was elevated along with her. A third candidate for mercy began similarly to be uplifted, being suspended from the foot of the beggar. A long series of persons, one below the other, began to be drawn up by that single carrot. Strange as it may seem, the woman felt no weight from all these souls hanging from her. When she was just near the gate, she looked down. It was such a big line, almost touching the earth. She said, hey! What are you doing? This is my carrot. Be off. She waved her hand to keep them away, and the carrot was lost, And she fell with the whole queue. Laughter, so misers will come back from the gate of heaven, because of their very claim, this is my carrot. But if you are really giving and if you really enjoy giving, you will always feel, what is there that is mine? It is all theirs. One comes empty-handed, goes empty-handed, so what am I giving? Just returning gifts of God to his infinite forms around. Love always feels inadequate. Be tremendously happy about it, and next group you will feel helpless and happy. And always remember, never tell anybody this is my carrot, All these people are going to hang with you. Another group member said that she had been told she should try to be more womanly. Osho said to listen to her own feelings, and that it was perfectly okay to be boyish, if that is how she wanted to be. A real world will be bisexual. It will not be divided into man and woman. Every woman is also a man and every man is also a woman. It has to be so, because half of you comes from your mother, and half of you comes from your father. So you are both, everybody is both. This is your choice that you decide in favor of your father, perfectly good. It is the other's choice if they decide in favor of their mother. But you are neither and you are both. So don't be worried about it. There is nothing wrong in being a boy in a girl's body. A group member said, I'm a little bit ashamed because I don't know if I trust you or not. I'm not sure. People would ask and I would say I don't know. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 174 Osho. Chapter 22. If you don't know, you don't know. What can you do? Don't be worried about it. The truth is that you don't know. Trust will come out of this authenticity. If you say that you trust and you don't, then trust will never come. If you say that you don't trust, and it is not true because negativities are never true. One cannot live in a no. One cannot live in an unbelief, distrust. Impossible. So it is good that you say I don't know. If this is the case, you have to say it. Then wait and go on working. One day out of this innocence, it is not a denial, it is simply innocence, not knowing, trust will come. It is already on the way. I am trying to find a way to enter you, That's my problem, not yours. A group member says, I was surprised to hear that people got the feeling from me that I was cold and mean and selfish. I feel just the opposite. No, don't be worried about what idea people have of you, because ultimately what is significant is what you think about yourself. Others' opinions are just opinions, because they are outside, they look at your face. They cannot see you, they can only see the outer shell. They cannot enter you, they cannot touch you. So whatsoever they think are just impressions gathered from the body, from the outside, they are inferences. Don't be worried about them. Just listen to what they say. If you feel they are right, then thank them. If you feel they are not right, then thank them then also, and tell them that somewhere they have inferred wrongly. But don't get excited about it. It has nothing to do with you. Sometimes a person may say that you are mean, and he himself may be mean, and sometimes a person may say that you are selfish, because he wanted something from you and you couldn't give it to him. Now he is throwing the whole responsibility on you. When people say something about somebody else, it is more possible that they are saying something about themselves. But listen, because it happens many times that you may not be able to observe yourself as accurately as others can, because they are far away and you are too close to yourself. You have too many vested interests in yourself, and they have none. They are impartial observers. Maybe they are right. Listen to what they say, but always judge it according to your inner feeling, and whatsoever you feel inside. A group member says, it took me much closer to pain that I didn't know about. My sexuality, my difficulty with relationships came up. I have this tremendous block with my mother who died 9 years ago. I haven't been able to go into it yet, but I got a lot closer. This group will be very, very helpful. It will clean you and make you clear about many things. Man's problem, more or less, is concerned with the mother. The mother is such a significant person, such an important person, that it is difficult not to be entangled with your own mother in many ways. Healthy, unhealthy, natural, perverted, in 1001 ways, one is entangled with the be realistic, Plan for a Miracle 175 Osho. Chapter 22. Mother. The sexuality particularly is bound to be entangled with the mother, because she is the first woman you came in contact with. The problem arises because a boy loves his mother non-sexually, his first love is non-sexual, and his first love is a woman. Now, next time he falls in love with a woman, the trouble can arise. Again the woman is there, and love has to be sexual. Now there is trouble. If it is going to be non-sexual again, then there is no problem, everything will fit together. Every man would like the woman he loves to be his mother, deep down, so the problem is not there. Every boy falls again and again in love with his own mother. Again and again you go on finding in women your own mother. Something clicks, the face, the eyes, the nose, the way she walks, the body structure, the color of the hair. Something clicks in you and suddenly you are impressed by the woman. That's why people say, I don't know why I love this woman. You must be loving your mother. Try to find out. Somewhere you will see a glimpse of your mother in this woman. Now the problem arises because the mother is a non-sexual love object. Every man making love to a woman, if he loves her, will feel guilty. If she is a prostitute there is no problem. With a prostitute you will never feel guilty because you don't love her, she is not your mother. But if you love a woman and then you make love to her, a deep guilt. What are you doing? Not conscious, in the unconscious, making love to your own mother. It is impossible to even think about, a great inhibition, a vast taboo. Someday it is going to be dropped, but it is still there. So this has to be tackled. You have to untangle a few things with your mother, and you have to become mature enough to love a woman sexually, and not ask her to be your mother. Ask her to be your children's mother. Don't ask her to be your mother, otherwise there is going to be difficulty. Once you have settled accounts with your mother, almost 90% of problems are solved. This simply shows the importance of the mother in one's life. You learn everything from the mother. The first contact with the world is your mother. The first contact with the breast of the woman is your mother. And it is very difficult to find a man who is not interested in women's breasts, impossible. Rarely, sometimes a Buddha, otherwise not. When you see a woman, immediately the first thing you see is the breast, not anything else. Again, you are searching for the mother. The breasts are just symbols of motherhood. So if a woman has small breasts, nobody is interested in her, because mothers have big breasts. Of course when the child is born, the mother has big breasts. The child comes in contact with big breasts, swollen, full of milk, ready to feed. And when you see a flat-chested woman, she is immediately repulsive to you. She is not your mother. Otherwise nothing is wrong, a woman is a woman. But somehow deep down in the unconscious, the beauty of the breasts has entered. And the bigger the better, because the child feels more confident. The breasts are so full that there is no need to be afraid of the future. Tomorrow also they will be flowing, and the day after tomorrow they will also be flowing. The mother is there. When you see a woman with small breasts, something creates a barrier. Small breasts? That woman doesn't look like a woman. Be realistic, plan for a miracle 176 Osho. Chapter 22. So women have learned the trick. They go on falsifying their breasts, stuffing their breasts with things just to make them big. The whole human literature is involved with breasts. Poetry, drama, novels, films, old and new, all media are involved with breasts, because every man has been a child and it is difficult to get rid of the mother. It goes on influencing you, it is a deep imprint, and all problems surround it. Take courage, get insights and work them out in your life. Next time you love a woman, don't love her as your mother. Be an adult, love her as your friend, as a girlfriend, as your wife, but not as a mother. Search for the woman, not the mother. If you can put your mother aside and can face the woman directly, all sexual problems will disappear. Many people have come to me with the problem of impotence, premature ejaculation, and 1,001 things, but deep down I always see that the problem is the mother. They become so afraid of the woman, premature ejaculation. They become so apprehensive, scared, in such a turmoil and fever, premature ejaculation. Or they become so afraid of the woman, feeling, it is in the unconscious, they don't know, that they are going to make love to their mother, that they become impotent. That impotence is not real. Out of 100 impotent persons, almost 75% are just psychologically impotent. With the prostitute they are not impotent, when they go to a prostitute they are perfectly manly. When they come to the woman they love, they are impotent. It is something mysterious. Because with the woman they love, the mother enters. This is my understanding, that prostitutes are not going to disappear from the world unless the mother problem is solved. They cannot disappear, they fulfill a certain necessity. They give you sex without love, that is their necessity. And with sex, no love has become involved. A group member says, I'm glad you told me to carry on the group, see Darshan March 31st. But I feel I've missed. Yes, you did miss. But I will give you other opportunities, don't be worried. I am never a miser about opportunities. You go on missing, I will go on giving. Eventually you will not be able to miss. Everybody misses in the beginning because one never knows what is happening. Be realistic, plan for a miracle. 177 Osho.